It is interesting to continue to think of those three prominent myths that I examined in a previous video. Indeed, the first one being the myth of Russian power. Indeed, there are KGB diehards within the Russian intelligence and security services who wish for an explosive conflict or simply a continuation of the Cold War with the NATO countries. However, much of this has to do with the fact that the KGB diehards like to create an external enemy, i.e. the NATO countries, to maintain their control on power over the Russian populace, which could itself be quite tenuous. Indeed, Russian power is a myth. They may have some really dirty weapons and certain amounts of technology and hardware, but due to internal corruption, they wouldn't be able to fight a sustained war with the NATO countries. Indeed, also there are too many competing groups within the intelligence services. Indeed, Russian intelligence agencies and services are notorious for their rivalry. And there are many independent warlords and paramilitaries among Russian forces also. And the society is too fractured for a sustained war against the NATO countries who are superior militarily and technologically. Indeed, it's very interesting to see the amount of British intelligence disinformation that is distributed regarding the supposed Russian threat. And I'd like to reiterate, Russian power is a myth. And most Russian spies know that Russian power is a myth. So I don't exactly know how this is going to work out. Indeed, it was the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst networks within Russian military intelligence that armed Iran to the teeth. It wasn't actually Russian originating sources, most probably. The Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst had a vested interest in arming Iran for some sort of end game for the average Israeli, basically. Indeed, the political Zionists within the Israeli state are themselves controlled by the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst and to an extent British intelligence. Indeed, this is all a game of shadows and deception. And this does link to the Albert Pike Third World War blueprint, whereby the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world basically go head to head in a final conflagration, which basically leads to the termination of both these entities. So we'll see how this works out. Indeed, I was thinking regarding the Anglo-German cryptocracy that the aristocracy of the United Kingdom is itself very heavily ethnically German. So there has always been a crossover between the Anglo-German aristocracies. Indeed, the English and German aristocracies actually represent one aristocracy, and therefore it is no surprise that the intelligence services of England and Germany and the extraterritorial Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst are all aligned in their aims. Indeed, it seems more and more to me that the Second World War was simply theatre, and that the Anglo-German cryptocracy had basically had control over everything. Indeed, there were genuine spy conflicts between British and Nazi intelligence agencies, but these were lower level operatives. Indeed, it was the same with the Cold War. There were genuine conflicts between British intelligence networks and the Russian, Soviet, KGB, GRU intelligence networks. But these were lower level operatives who were not in the loop, and they were basically being played by the overarching networks. Indeed, I've already surmised that the Cold War was a creation of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. Indeed, the Gehlen organization basically funneled this information to the lower level operatives of the Western intelligence agencies, who then lobbied their respective governments to bring about the Iron Curtain, with most of the people in the prominent positions of government that are visible are not actually in the loop and are often under blackmail from higher level cryptocratic elements and are basically puppets. And therefore, the people who ushered in the Iron Curtain didn't actually have a clue what was really going on with the networks of the Anglo-German cryptocracy running things with a large constituent percentage of British intelligence and Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst operatives resident within the Russian intelligence services. Indeed, the Frankists within the Russian Soviet intelligence services were firmly under the control of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. Indeed, even Gorbachev, who was really a Frankist with the surname Orbach, was completely controlled by the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. And it does seem that the perestroika mechanisms were deceptions, and that the Russian Communist Party, Soviet Communist Party, still rules the Russian Federation and is still under the control of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. Indeed, I've also surmised that the Chinese Communist Party is coordinated by the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst also, though I need to do more research into these areas to fully be able to confirm to myself whether or not this is the case. Indeed, I do enjoy conspiracy research because there is no blanket right or wrong answer with the intelligence world. You cannot know the whole. And I find that interesting because I can continue to do this research forever without necessarily coming to a full-on conclusion, which is not a problem with me. I feel like I'm cracking a code, and I don't mind if I never crack it. Indeed, returning to the myths that I originally wished to analyze, the second one was that the adherents of the faith of Ishmael are a threat to the West, which I believe is a myth. Indeed, the networks of jihadis, mujahideen, and fundamentalists of the networks of the faith of Ishmael are themselves coordinated by the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. Indeed, British intelligence and the intelligence services of the United States of America and France and Israeli networks, who are themselves under the control of the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, all have percentages of control of fundamentalist Islamic networks. And these networks are utilized for false flag attacks and various destabilization techniques in areas where British, German, French, American, and Israeli corporations have interests. Indeed, much of the activity in the Middle East and Africa seems to be basically corporate entities, often in rivalry and sometimes united, wishing to gather prospective areas of real estate and resources for profit, basically. Indeed, the majority of intelligence operatives operating in the Middle East and Africa are often contracted by corporations. And indeed, these corporations have infiltrated the intelligence agencies of the NATO, Israeli, Russian, etc. governments and are basically utilizing those intelligence services for their own money-making schemes. Indeed, the majority of networks of the Faith of Ishmael are coordinated by the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst and elements of British intelligence who all believe themselves to be the descendants of the Templars, which links to the fact that the fundamentalist networks of the Islamic world were themselves set up by the networks such as the Assassins, who in their current form are known as the Nizari Ismailis. It seems to be basically a continuation of that network. Indeed, that is Islamic Freemasonry. And these networks of the Islamic world are basically Masonic networks also, and link in with the Masonic networks in the West. And there is a certain amount of rivalry between the Masonic networks in the Middle East and North Africa and the Masonic networks in the West, but often they work in cooperation. Indeed, the Sufi techie networks that operate out of the techies, which are effectively lodges and have a lot of influence in the Turkish deep state, these networks are coordinated often by British intelligence also. And Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst has a lot of influence among these networks. Although they operate autonomously often, they are interconnecting with the Western Masonic bodies. And it's a continuing game, really. Indeed, some theorists have posited that there is an ongoing conflict between Western secret societies and Islamic secret societies, but I'm not entirely sure how prominent an actual full-on conflict is. Indeed, it seems more like these networks are all interconnecting and often working together, though with certain factional rivalries and feuds. And this seems to be basically the crux of that matter. Indeed, the third myth that I have previously dispelled was the myth of Hebrews controlling the world. Indeed, there are some very powerful personages of that ethnicity, but these tend to be semi-autonomous figures and corporate bodies and intelligence services that are working for the, whether willingly or not, they are working for the British intelligence and Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst networks. Indeed, the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst originally trained the Mossad networks and Shin Bet not long after the Second World War. Indeed, it was specifically operatives of the Gehlen organization who trained these networks. And Otto Skorjeni himself was a contractor for the Mossad, i.e. Israeli Foreign Intelligence Services. And it's interesting how this all links up. Indeed, the networks of Israeli intelligence are these days blamed for everything, but this is not the case. Indeed, the Anglo-German networks would like everything to be blamed on the Israeli intelligence networks. So that's how it all works out, basically. Indeed, just as the Anglo-German networks would like certain operations to be blamed on the Mujahideen networks, these operations were Anglo-German operations utilizing Mujahideen proxies with logistical support from Anglo-German intelligence networks. Indeed, the majority of operations that are blamed on the Mossad are often not even carried out by Mossad operatives, they're carried out by Anglo-German operatives. And basically everything is cast so that the population believes that the Hebrews control the world, when this is not actually the case, as the Hebrew networks within the cryptocracy are subordinate to the Anglo-German intelligence aristocracy, basically the elite intelligence operatives of the British intelligence and Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst networks that basically have a monopoly on everything. Indeed, many of these networks are beholden to corporations, but effectively they coordinate the operations of the corporations. Indeed, one network which I'd like to go further into is the NW7 network, which are the intelligence branch of IG Farben and the BASF network, which would seem to be IG Farben continued, but IG Farben has basically a monopoly on so many thousands of different corporations that it's difficult to say what is the actual successor of IG Farben, or does IG Farben just still exist as it did? Because the IG Farben networks basically collapsed themselves towards the end of the Second World War and set themselves up under different names in various parts of the world. Indeed, the whole Second World War was staged so that the Nazi networks could spin out across the globe and basically establish their dominion over various parts of the world, and then their networks could all link up for the final institution of the technocracy, which we are seeing now. Indeed, British intelligence operatives above a certain clearance level were all in on this. Indeed, there is no distinction really between British intelligence above a certain level and the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. It is one network. And whether or not you wish to see this as a continuation of the Bavarian Illuminati, you may see it that way because it's basically a very similar concept and it all links up together. Indeed, I'm going to leave it there.